What is the most important thing you think the Melbourne Police Department is doing right now to change your community for the better?
Sitting and having the council meetings every month. Officers like you who go out into the community and help, who want to connect with their citizens, not just on a, hey, you know, what did you do? Why, you know, not just on an on-call matter. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, when I used to live in Port St. John before I moved here to Melbourne, the officers weren't really involved. And it's not a jab at BCSO or anything like that. I'm just saying that nobody was really involved. Even the resource officers at school, they weren't really involved. And then I ended up speaking at, where was I? It was a meeting held by Miss K. Mirage, and I happened to meet John there, and he pulled me in and everything. And so when we were talking about Word is Bond and doing the story times, I met officers like you and the chief, Melbourne. You guys, I think, are probably the most productive police department I have met so far. So,
Thank you for saying
so. You're welcome. So,
do you know how long the Community Relations Council has been meeting every month?
Well, so far I have been to 3. My cousin ended up speaking at one of them, and you were on the board that time. I just hadn't met you yet, so I'm not 100% sure. So if you would like to enlighten me, I would love that.
If you had to guess, how long do you think the Melbourne Police Department has had the Community Relations Council?
So is that the trick question? Is it going to be like,
no?
Okay.
No, there's no pressure and no wrong answer, and I'll just tell you if you want. But if you had to guess, I was just curious how long you thought it was in play.
If I had to guess the amount of people that get there every month with a lot of concerns, I really want to say for like 2 years. I want to say 3 years. I'm not 100% sure.
Are you sitting down?
So.
Are you sitting down right now?
Yes, I am sitting down.
Would you be surprised if I told you over 20?
Really? That's amazing. I had no idea. Why am I just now knowing about this stuff? That's crazy. That needs to get out more.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm going to self-reflect and tell you probably one of the reasons you didn't know about it is because we're not doing a good enough job in advertising it. So how about you work with me to figure out how we can get it out? And the new force multiplier that has been added to our Community Relations Council meeting is high school age representation through Word is Bond. And now that we've had exponential growth, I think we will have a bigger voice and more people showing up to the meetings.
Amazing. Yes. Wow. That 20 years. I was only thinking like 2 or 3 because it's always a small group of people, but they're repetitive each time. They're consistent. They come every time. And I'm like, yes, this is a start. And I had no idea it was 20 years.
So now that you know that, this is why I think it's actually a good thing that there's so few people that show up on a regular basis. Now, if we have things to talk about, like the last one, which you did an excellent job, by the way, making yourself known, making Word is Bond known, and making that group and the police department realize that it's important for young minority representation and young community representation as a whole. It doesn't even have to be a minority representation to have that voice, because it's not just the optics of a 50-year-old cop or a 50-year-old community member. It's the optics from you guys as well and what you bring to the table as issues. So knowing that those meetings have been going on so long and knowing that they're every month and we have one north and one south to try to make it available to everybody on at least a bi-monthly basis, I see it as actually a very good thing that there's low attendance, because it means we're doing a good job maintaining that connectivity and communication from meeting to meeting.
Right.
So that there isn't a large number of people that show up voicing a concern that they're not being heard and their needs aren't being met.
Right.
So very often we go and the number of officers that are there outnumber the attendees 3-4 to 1. And we will continue to show up in those numbers because we are committed to that relationship, the community, and the conversations that are had there.
Right.
And we always ask, and I'll put it out there because we don't want you to wait 30 days to come back and report. We want to give you a situational report on a problem you may have had in that 30 days. Please call when the event is happening.